Hello, students and learners. So welcome to my new series on AI as well as DevSecOps and in terms of AI security. Yeah. So where this is the first in terms of the video, um, which is basically for the in terms of beginners. Yeah. Where I'll cover what are LLMs, what are embeddings, vector database, and how our chat flow or in terms of AI flow evolves or works around us at the backend. Yeah. So have you ever wondered how AI tool like ChatGPT understand your questions and give human-like answers? So it's not magic. It's a combination of LLM, this embeddings, and smart search, as I said. Yeah. So in this video, I'll explain everything in the simplest way possible, how much I can. Yeah. Okay. So let's see the first diagram. Yeah. So where you can see in terms of, let me zoom it. So if you see the application, right? So this application is nothing but ChatGPT. Yeah. As well as there are other applications like Ollama, Claude. Yeah. So these are the applications by which you um, this input a query by a prompt to basically, and that goes to the model, which is called as LLM, which uh, which is basically at the backend or which is the brain of these applications or the brain of AI. Yeah. So if I talk about LLM, so there are certain these models like this GPT is the one model, right? Ollama have its model as Llama. Yeah. So there are other in terms of multiple models which are basically trained on huge or some massive amount of data which it has. Yeah. Basically in terms of text data, uh, which are taken from this in terms of this internet, web, blogs, or books, right? So based on that, these models are trained. Yeah. So basically, these LLMs are, as I said, these are the brains. So this will basically generate the text. Yeah, and this does not store any facts or store any this information within. So these are just for generating the text. Yeah. So these are models. Okay. So once these, in terms of LLMs, which we have, which these LLMs or these models are trained. So then basically, uh, there is in terms of a mechanism which is embedding, where the text is basically converted into numbers, which are called as vectors. Yeah, and these in terms of these vectors or these vector embeddings, uh, basically that is the conversion process, which basically converts each text into a number. Yeah, suppose for example, if I take hello, right? So this will convert into a number, which I can say, for example, this plus this. Yeah. So based on these texts, right? These texts, these numbers or these vectors are converted, and these are called embeddings. So these embeddings are now basically goes to the vector database. So vector database is the database which is used by AI systems or these applications like ChatGPT or Llama or Claude, right? So these are the vector databases which basically store these embeddings or these embeddings vectors and then search the database for the similar number or similar text. So based on these number, it searches in the database and then comes out with a similar text, right? So that can be hi, that can be hello. Yeah. So these are the similar in terms of text. So which it finds from the vector database. And then based on that, the vector database gives the query result or query output to the application. So this was about in terms of the LLMs, yeah, and the embeddings. So if I show you further about the embeddings, how these embeddings are created, right? Or what are they? So if I take examples of text, messages, or images, audio, video, right? They are all converted from text. So these are all taken as text. Yeah. And then from text, these converted into numbers, as you see, right? These are numbers and these are text. So these are converted from text to numbers, and which we call as vectors. Okay. So these was basically in terms of these embeddings, um, which are stored into the this vector database. Okay. So there is also a concept of RAG, yeah, RAG. So this is basically called the retrieval augmented in terms of the process, yeah, the generation process, where this is also basically comes into a flow where suppose if you have a knowledge base, right? Suppose in your company or any company, there is a knowledge base, right? So that knowledge base, uh, um, that knowledge base is basically created or stored by RAG, where all the knowledge base uh, in terms of the searches, articles, or anything you wanted, documents, right? That are all stored in the RAG. So that is a different this in terms of a component in the AI space. Okay, fine. So this was basically um, the basics for the beginners. Yeah. And next, I'll also come up with more such videos uh, based on based on LLM security uh, from the OAPS top 10. Yeah. Also, basically build some applications on Ollama as well as a DevSecOps pipeline. Yeah. So stay tuned till then and keep learning. Um, yeah, and keep growing.